And we are back. Welcome to the Talk About Fight Club podcast. I want to welcome back my boy Jesse.
Welcome back.
We've been missing you, bro.
Yeah, out here.
You know, even though it was one episode, it felt like 3. Feel me?
It always does when I'm gone.
Yeah, man. This is episode 3. We're back. And I'm kind of excited because we got some crazy news in the fight world. You know, my favorite fighter is finally coming back, but we're going to get into that later.
Mr. Jones.
Oh my God. like you don't even understand.
Back and bigger than ever.
Oh my gosh. Listen, when I saw the mistake that the T-Mobile Arena made, like mad people started texting me like, yo, bro, is this for real? I'm like, what? Bro, you should have seen the goosebumps on my arms when I saw that. Oh my God. But anyway, we'll get into that later. I am your host. My name is Maverick, and you are
Jesse Tafc.
Jesse Tafc. Wait, what was the nickname we gave him first episode? What is it?
I don't think I got a nickname. Oh, yeah. You know what?
The blonde something. The blonde avatar.
Blonde avatar.
It was the blonde avatar. That's my boy, the blonde avatar. He is here. And we also have
your boy DJ,
aka
the Hood Samurai.
Do you already know? Oh, he came back. He won.
Yeah, he choked him out.
Oh, snap!
Mm-hmm. This is for those just listening. Melsik Bagdasaryan versus Josh Kulabau. Kulabau just came back and got the rear naked choke.
Especially after getting his nuts destroyed. He got
absolutely railed by a spinning back kick.
Ugh. Disgusting
Free vasectomy.
So once again, ladies and gentlemen, you will be hearing us have random outbursts and say random stuff because there is a fight going on in the background. It's UFC 284. We got, the scariest guy, I guess, in the lightweight division, Islam Makhachev, who's basically Khabib 2.0. And
we're better striking. Okay.
Yeah, definitely 100%.
Be part 2.
100%. And he's fighting the pound for pound best fighter in the world, Alexander Volkanovski.
Okay.
So, before we get into anything, my man BA, who do you got?
Man, it's hard to say this without like bringing my own like wants into it, right? Because like I really want Volkanovski to win. It's obviously the better story if Volkanovski wins. Everyone wants the scary Russian man to lose.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
we're getting a little
we've been raised on.
Don't take this the wrong way.
We're
not. I'm not trying to diss anybody from Dagestan or Russia or nothing like that. Well, you
guys
are just destroying everybody. We're just like, okay. Like as soon as we see one of you guys get in the ring, we're like, he's gonna win.
So it would be cool to have the script flip like that a little bit, especially, we're as Americans, like we're raised with a lot of anti-Russian movies from the Cold War. The Russians are always the villains, Rocky, fucking Red Dawn. Like we're brought up wanting the Russians
Drago was my guy, bro. I bang with Drago.
Now that being said, I have great respect for Khabib and his whole camp.
Right.
For Islam Makhachev, like they have this shit down to a science. They're some of the most dedicated athletes in any sport, period.
Right.
So like I would not be upset if Islam won because he deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
Like no doubt. You can't say anybody else deserves their success more than Khabib's camp, Islam Makhachev, everyone coming up from there deserves it because they worked their fucking asses off for this shit.
Right.
But yeah, I want Volkanovski to win. He's fast. He's strong.
Mm-hmm.
He can wrestle, but can he wrestle to that level? I doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a question. He's got great distance management, especially as a shorter fighter.
Right.
He does have great distance management. So I could see him staying on the outside and picking Islam apart, possibly. Islam wings a lot of shots. He's sloppy, but the reason the Dagestanis are able to get away with being a little more sloppy and striking is because they're always moving forward. So even if they're throwing sloppy hooks, at some point they're going to get tangled up with you, and then you're in their world, So
yeah, I can agree.
People underrate their striking a little bit because it's like they just see the wingingness of the shots, and they're not thinking about what they're actually doing with that, So that's my little rant about that. But
gotcha.
I do think Islam will win, for the record. Like I expect that to happen, but I would love if Volkanovski.
Listen, I think both men are deserving of a win.
Yeah.
Now they both worked hard. I feel like Islam got the belt. Y'all see him winning if they do a rematch with him and Oliveira again?
Yeah.
I feel like Oliveira slipped up. I feel like I don't know.
He did. I think he came in a little bit overconfident in himself.
I just don't think he has the strength that Islam has. Like, don't get me wrong. You know, he has the most finishes in UFC. He is a threat on the feet and on the ground. But they're like you mentioned earlier, there's just a strength that those guys from Russia have. There's this raw power that a lot of those European guys have, like Jan Blachowicz, like that Polish power, like those European guys, they're just really strong, powerful dudes. And I think the difference is, it's like the difference between like Shaq and Kareem almost. You know what I'm saying? Kareem is very lanky, long, and athletic. Shaq is just a tall, huge.
Just a tank.
Yeah, he's a tank.
Dominant.
You know, and that's how I see like Islam compared to Oliveira.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree with
like
that.
he's so slick, he's so good, but he just doesn't have the strength.
I think Oliveira would do better the second time, but I do think the outcome would be the same.
Right.
I think Oliveira is too comfortable playing jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And you know, you just don't have that against these guys. Like you don't jiu-jitsu, I mean, you know, it's almost like a joke at this point, but like jiu-jitsu just doesn't even work against these guys.
Oh no,
you
no,
know, like it's just not.
No, it's just too much strength. And I
you know,
mean,
you got black belts like Poirier, Charles Oliveira. You know what I mean? Like really good guys on the ground who are like Poirier was known earlier in his career for being a jiu-jitsu guy,
right?
And they just have nothing for them because it's another level. Like one of my old coaches was like, every 20 pounds is like another belt. You know what I mean? And it's like that's the same way in strength too. Like every bit of strength you have over a guy is another belt, you know? So it's like, it's yeah.
I also must apologize, ladies and gentlemen. My dog is here with me. Usually I have her sit out, but you know, knowing my dog will jump all over my co-hosts and my cameraman and myself. So she's going to be whining in the background. Please forgive the noise that my dog will be giving off for this episode. But yeah, like, oh man, my guy Jose Aldo. I love that guy.
He just had a boxing fight actually and won.
Wait, it happened?
Yeah.
I missed that. Oh,
I didn't even hear about
it. It was against a guy who was like 0-2. Although he looked okay. I mean, you have
to, but that's the smart way to do it.
Get your money,
you know
bro.
what I mean? Yeah, get your
money. What was weird was
money.
They gave him 2 belts afterward. And was like, how'd you get 2 belts in your first boxing fight against a guy who's 0-2? But he looked happy, so I was happy.
Hey, look, as long as Jose is happy, it's all good. So I want to get into a particular subject, and I kind of want to play around, and I spoke to DJ about it. So for those people who know me, who know Mav, I'm not the biggest Dana White fan. I don't hate Dana White. I don't think I'm not going to say he doesn't know how to do his job. Not saying any of that. I don't like the way he approaches things. I don't like his choice making. Like, there's a lot I don't like. I don't like his attitude on things either, to a degree. Besides all that. So the producer of the show, he's talking to me and he goes, yo, so what do you think about the whole... And I'm pretty sure every single fight podcast has talked about this, but hey, why not us? So
why not?
What do you feel with the whole Dana White slapping his wife situation? Not about how you felt about him actually slapping her. Not that part.
Obviously, not good.
Not good. Right.
Like,
not good.
Bad situation all around.
Right.
There's no point in even debating who was right and wrong in that.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, you're a grown man getting into a slap fight with your wife in the middle of a casino.
Right.
Yeah, he should know better though.
Like, come on, my guy.
So I let that one slide, right? Like, let's not even talk about that part. But the thing that I'm kind of like on the fence about and trying to figure out is the whole thing where people are like, oh, he should be punished or, you know, something like that. And the thing about it for me was like, okay, who are we to punish him for his personal shit?
Right.
At the end of the day, no, we don't want him hitting his wife. We don't want a woman being hit. But it's like, So, for example, I don't think people should be arrested or put in jail because of using drugs.
No, absolutely not.
I don't like if you're caught using any drug.
You're
I don't care what
only
drug it
hurting
is.
yourself,
Right.
man.
I don't care what drug it is. It could be the worst drug on down to the lightest drug. I don't feel like police officers should arrest a person.
What's the point?
Like, and put them in jail. That's what I'm saying. Arrest them and put them in jail.
It's 50-50.
The reason why I say that's now it depends. If the person is doing drugs and they're causing a ruckus, they're bothering someone, or
playing the vehicle.
You feel me?
Okay, I'll arrest them.
But if they're
you're
just
committing another crime in the process, you know what I'm saying? Which
Right.
does happen. Like, let's be real. If you're strung out on heroin, you'll probably commit a crime to get more
Right.
heroin. But like, it's not the drug itself that should be punished, right? It's what you
Right.
do to other people in the course
Right.
of your addiction.
right.
You know?
So if a person, if I'm a cop and I see a person, God forbid, shooting up, this is just me personally. I don't feel like putting them in jail is going to help. I don't think that's something you
It
should
never
do.
does.
Right.
I feel like that is something that your family, people in your community, church, wherever, people,
Medical
you know what I'm saying?
facilities,
Like people,
you should go to the hospital. You
right,
should detox in like a supervised environment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where like people
Right.
will help you instead of detoxing in a holding cell. And then just all you want to do is get the fuck out and not feel like that no more.
right.
No?
The reason why I say it that way is I feel the same way when it comes to situations like with Dana White. Yes, he shouldn't have hit his wife. It's not a good thing. But at the end of the day, that's between them. That's their personal relationship. Now, if he's beating on her, if that's something that's going on a regular basis, then it's like, all right, step in. He's harming this woman on a regular basis. They got into an argument. She hit him. He hit her back. Okay, that was bad.
Oh, she hit him first.
Yes,
Yeah, she did slap
She slapped him first. Like
Now-
I saw the video. It's like he walks up to her. I guess like she was upset with him about something or whatever.
Again,
Okay.
this is a short video.
Right.
You know, like we don't have
We
the
don't know
full
what happened
context of
beforehand,
the
right.
situation.
Right.
Right. But it was a messy fucking situation.
Right.
Like what are you doing, bro?
Because
Like,
I
what are
didn't
you
hear the
doing?
full story. I heard
So,
that he
yeah.
just hit
Yeah.
her.
Yeah,
It's
I saw the video, and basically the video is she's sitting there, she's kind of like, like this sort
They're
of.
obviously fighting.
Yeah, they're upset with each other.
Okay.
And he walks up to her. He like, I guess is trying to talk to her or whatever. She slaps him. And out of knee-jerk reaction, he automatically just slaps her right back.
Yep.
So, like I said, not good.
But it was like a you pig slap. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a fuck you, I'm trying to hurt you.
Yeah, his slap wasn't even that crazy either, but it was
No,
enough
neither
to
of them. But it was
But
like,
it was
bro,
like-
you're
it
like a
was almost like, what the-
260-pound man.
It's just the
like,
principle of putting your hands.
Right.
on
Yeah, like what are you
Right.
doing?
and that's the thing.
What are
is
both
it-
of you doing?
Right. It's wrong. But why are you trying to get this man fired from his job?
So here's the thing. Here's the
I
thing about that.
I don't think that
It-
you know what I mean?
If he's like a player on an NFL team,
Mhm.
right? It could be in the interest of the team to not have him representing their team, right? If he works for the government, it's not in the interest
Okay.
of the government to have him representing the
They do
government.
that.
But he doesn't work for anybody, right? Like he works for the investors of the company to make the company money.
Right.
So at the end of the day, the only way the public can really do something about it is to vote with their dollar and be like, okay, as long as Dana White's in charge, we're not going to buy this shit anymore.
Not gonna
we're
happen.
not going to watch this shit.
Not gonna happen.
And that's not going to happen. UFC is only getting bigger. Now,
Right.
personally, you can sail the high seas and get the events for free if you know where to look. I'm not going to tell you where to look, but you know, you can choose to put on your Yar Matey eye patch and get out there. You feel me? But like that's the only real way to give your opinion on whether the UFC should have him in charge anymore. Because at the end of the
Right.
day, as long as the product's making money, they're
Right.
gonna have him in charge, and that's just it. You know,
Mhm.
when you're watching, it's like watching the WWE in like the 90s, the early 2000s. That is Vince McMahon. Like by
Right.
watching this program, by buying this product, you are supporting this man directly. Like this is his baby.
Right.
Like there he is right now.
Right.
Like he built this shit from the ground up.
Right.
So like the only way is like you could be like, I'm not watching UFC anymore. I'm gonna watch One. I'm gonna watch Ryzen. I'm gonna watch Bellator.
Mhm.
You know, but other than that, like
And that's why I'm saying, like, honestly, okay, I as a person, like, let's just say I'm Dana White. I hit my wife. This is just how I think. All right, I'm going to not be in the public eye as much for a little while. I'm not going to not do my job. I'm not going to not run my company. I'm going to run my company. I'm going to do my job because, like you said, who's going to fire me? So at the end of the day, this is still, like you said, my baby.
But I want to agree with what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
He's a direct representation of the company.
Mm-hmm.
Like sports, they don't play that. Anything outside that's going to add anything extra to the business, they cut you up because they don't want that associated with the team. Mm-hmm. Now with Dana White, there's nothing really you can do with it because he owns it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like he said, the only way you can shut that down is if you stop with the dollar.
Right.
But I feel like him and his stature and his position, he should know better.
Well, remember, they both admitted, him and his wife, they were both drinking heavy. It's New Year's Eve. They were both drinking heavy.
Yeah.
And she also reached out to, I don't know if she reached out to public outlets, but I know she reached out to people and said, hey, I shouldn't have hit him either. I was drunk. I shouldn't have done that. So the thing about it is his wife's not as much in the public eye, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to blame Dana because he's in the public eye.
Big guy.
And for the record, I'll say, as a man, like if a woman half my size slaps me, I'm not going to slap her back. Like that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just not. Like I'm going to like grab your arm or something. I'm like not going to let you physically keep hitting me. But like it's ingrained in me as a man, other than in sparring. Because like when you're sparring, you do hit a woman, but that's agreed upon. We're both in that situation. But like if a woman is like, you pig, you know what I mean? I saw you looking at her ass or whatever and slaps me and be like, all right, I'm just not gonna be around you. Like that's what, like I don't need to hit you to feel like I did something right in that situation. Like, I don't need to get that back. Like, but that's just me.
But like you said, you got to add on to that though. Under the influence,
they were under the influence, right?
So we can say this
New Year's,
we can say this sober.
If he's sober, then you know what?
That's fact.
Yo, you're bugging.
Yeah,
you slapped a woman. You're bugging.
Because I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't drink or smoke, so I don't know how it feels to be under influence, and especially in like a heated moment, what happens. So I don't know. His mind wasn't right, but it's still wrong. It's a principle,
Right.
Yeah.
Like I still look at him like, yo, bro, you still slapped the female. But the argument that I had with some of the people I was talking about was, so people are saying he should not be working and running the UFC.
Well, who's going to stop him?
Well, this is the thing. That's why I'm asking. Do you think they're correct in that they should feel like, all right, yo, he needs to step down or some type of punishment needs to occur? So when he was being interviewed, it was after, I guess, one of the last UFC events. They go, okay, people are saying that you should be punished. And he goes, okay, so what is it? Yep. What should the punishment be?
That's a good question. What would the punishment be?
And it's like, would I disagree with it if he did step down? No, I'd be like, man, that's probably a good call. But like, who's going to tell him to, like, it's
right. And that's why I said maybe not be in the public eye at the moment. Maybe have one of the other guys do the announcement, the post fight.
His ego is way too big to ever do that.
But I mean,
like,
I know that about him.
He's not going to fade into obscurity. He's going to go out kicking and fucking screaming.
Right, which is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the like I said, I don't think he should not be running the company still. He should still be running the company.
I'm sure CEOs do that shit every fucking day and no one fucking sees it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's my thing. Is like, I'm as big a critic of Dana White as anybody else. I think what he's doing with Power Slap is
hilarious.
It's hilarious. It should be fucking criminal though to do that to these guys.
Elaborate on that.
Like they're paying them.
They're paying them $2,000 to give each other CTE, bro.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We're taking an unprotected shot to the fucking head, like, and guys are gonna do it because they're broke. They don't have the money. But it's like this is literally
and this is for what, a guy who wins the whole thing, right? They only get $2,000.
Well, they had a UFC fighter, Sean Spicely,
right?
Not Sean Strickland, but Sean. I think his name is Spicely, Eric Spicely. I'm sorry. And he's like a well-known UFC fighter. Like he was a long-time guy. They offered him a Power Slap contract, $2,000, and that's for a guy who is, theoretically, like ostensibly getting paid more than some random dude that they're bringing in, because he already has history with the UFC. He already has history with Dana. You'd think that at least pay him if they're going to pay anybody.
That's the whole contract is $2,000?
$2,000 to show, $2,000 to win. So $4,000 total is what you're getting.
$4,000, and that's going to be taxed. I was about to say that's going to be taxed.
Ironically, it's a slap league after the incident.
Right. Yeah. And remember this started. He was already like advertising the slap league before that happened. Let's give him that much respect. He was already on the road to doing it. It was already on TV. There was already commercials.
But the big push did happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But anyway, he advertised it even more.
He had it on the fucking brain, I guess, bro.
So this gonna get it even.
He's like, this is gonna make it work.
Yeah, for sure.
Get people talking about it. Honestly, knowing Dana, I would not be surprised if him and his wife staged that shit to get money.
That would be hilarious.
I'm not gonna even put that theory out into the world.
No, it's out there. I want it out there.
But not
ladies and gentlemen. Dana White and his wife faked it so they can push the power slap brand.
I didn't agree with that.
I'm just kidding.
What was you saying, DJ?
Well, not to cut him off though. Man.
Sorry, I messed up your thought. My bad.
You good, man.
My bad.
It'll come back.
But anyway, so like what I was saying, there's a lot of fucking shitty CEOs out there, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of these executives, like I'm gonna be honest, like just as like a working person, like executives are the worst people in the world, bro, because they don't make any of the money. You know what I'm saying? They're not the actual product. Like they're not doing any of the work. Like I don't care what a CEO tells you, bro. Like they are not doing any of the work. They are a manager. You know, they bring in people who actually have the talent and they tell them to do the work and then they take the credit when it happens.
Right.
Like CEOs are pieces of shit. And I'm sure that they all, like 90% of big company CEOs do worse shit behind closed doors.
Absolutely.
But because they're not public figures like Dana White has made himself, like the fucking Walton family who owns Walmart, fuck them. Right. You know what I mean? Like you got
the
oil
CEOs and all these guys.
Like it's just like I'm sure that they're all terrible because Dana White has made himself into like a Vince McMahon company man type of figure. Like the UFC is Dana White and Dana White is the UFC. Like they're inseparable.
And it's funny you say that because another part of that conversation, segue to this aspect, is still part of the Dana White rant, is that the reason why I think the one of the biggest reasons why Dana White doesn't do the whole like, you know, what do you call it? The let guys go and box and let guys go and
locks them into the contracts.
Right.
Yeah.
So
exclusive.
I was talking to my boy about it, and he was just like, basically, like if you really look at the UFC fighters, they're like, look at them. They're like a basketball team or like a sports team. They wear the same uniforms.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like
they're not independent contractors. They are employees.
Yes, they are.
If they can only work for you, they are your employee, and they should get all the benefits that an employee has.
They are the Las Vegas Raiders. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but instead they're all classified as independent contractors. So they all have to get their own healthcare. They all have to pay their own taxes.
See, and the reason why I say that's crazy, if that's the case, then I should be able to wear whatever the fucking shorts I want.
Yeah,
see, but that's what Francis was trying to do. Get his
right.
own,
and he's probably trying to get the sponsors.
Yep.
So look, you know where all the sponsors are? Look at the ring.
The UFC's making that money. The fighters not.
Yeah, look right there on the side. Look at the mat. Those are all the sponsors right there.
They just did a deal with Logan Paul.
Right, and the thing is this:
crazy,
the reason, but this is the thing: the sponsors are sponsoring UFC, not the fighters.
The fighters, no.
You know what I mean? And if you look at it, look at boxing. Back in the day, the only thing that matched on a boxer was the gloves. Back in the day, that's the only thing that looked the same. Now they let them wear whatever they want. They wear their own shorts, their own outfits. They have their sponsors on it if they want their sponsors on it. You know what I mean? And this is how UFC was in the beginning. Remember, guys just come in with their shorts and have the different patches all over there. You know what I mean?
The Iceman shorts.
Oh man,
Shogun shorts.
Come on.
But here's the thing. Like, here's my personal, and I think that this is backed up by everything that's going on with the UFC. But the reason they don't want their guys becoming individual stars, right? They saw what happened with Conor McGregor. And then Conor McGregor left to go do boxing. You know, he held up the division for years. Like, he barely fought. You know, he's been out for years. So sometimes tease a comeback, sometimes not. But that's not making the UFC any money, right?
What makes
money is after he left. After he left, it's not making him any money having these guys sit out, get hurt, break his leg.
Right.
So after that, I think that they really and during that, they really started to focus on not making a fighter the product, right? They don't want people to tune in for individual fighters. That's why they're trying to make stars less of stars, because they want people to watch the UFC. They don't want people to tune in to watch a Volkanovski fight. They don't want people to tune in to watch a Max Holloway fight. They want people to tune in to watch the UFC,
yep.
right? Because guys get hurt too much. Guys stay out. The matchups don't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're a fan of one fighter, you might have to wait 3 years to see him fight again.
Right.
They want people to show up to the cards.
John Jones.
Yeah. They don't want you to be a John Jones fan. They want you to tune into whatever the UFC is putting on.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they want everyone to look the same. They want it to be more of like an organized sport than a thing where guys have their own personalities and sponsors,
See, if that's the case, this is what I would do. Because it's like I said, it's like a sports team anyway. Take these guys, right? Take their gyms and make the gyms like teams. You know what I'm saying? You already got AKA and you know what I'm saying? Like the individual
ATA.
gyms should be a team.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're already making them wear uniforms. You already got them locked in the contracts.
That's a really interesting idea, actually.
Yeah, if you really think about it, all right, you got the Jackson Wink Gym. That's one team. You got, like I said, AKA. You got the Ray Longos.
Actually, Greg Jackson left.
Jackson left?
Yeah, it's just Jackson's MMA now. Yeah. Or Winklejohn left.
Winklejohn left?
Well, what predicated that was one of them. John Jones wanted to come back after one of his scandals. I forget if it was hitting the pregnant woman with his car.
No, it was
or
the last
beating
one.
his wife, or he's had a few.
Yeah, it was the wife situation. I remember, and they said that he couldn't come back or something like that until he
one
got
of the
himself
coaches.
together.
I forget which one. I think Winklejohn said he wasn't going to train with him, and Greg Jackson said he was, and then the gym split up basically from that.
Oh. Man, and that's crazy because they've created so many champions. And there goes my dog again. Anyway,
I think that's an interesting idea to have the gyms kind of
if you really think about it,
a unit. Yeah.
It'll keep the whole structure of the UFC in order. 1, 2, it makes the gym and the UFC money. You know what I mean? Because now, like, think about it like this. When, most basketball players, they're going to high school and college, they were like, yo, I want to play for the Knicks, or I want to go play for the Lakers, or I want to be on team Winklejohn. I want to be on team Khabib, or it's
I'm
whatever.
going to City Kickboxing. That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can make it whatever you want.
But not to cut you off though, all
right, so wait, we're gonna take a quick break. Sorry, hold that thought. Right. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna go to commercial.
Got you. Niggas don't want no incident, cause niggas clap back in the instant. Niggas don't want no incident, cause niggas clap back in the instant. Niggas don't want no incident, cause niggas clap back in the instant. Niggas don't want no incident, cause niggas clap back in the instant.
All right, and we are back from commercial break, and another fighter has got kicked in the nuts.
That's the price of admission.
Yeah, well, we all have that moment one day in life. Oh, Guru DJ did it. It wasn't me. DJ did it. It wasn't me. So yes, we were talking about Dana White. We were talking about how he should have handled the whole slap situation. How he should, how I don't like the fact that the fighters aren't allowed to have sponsors. But to say all that, kind of going back to my first point of like whether he should be punished or not or whatever, at the end of the day, once again, this is just how I feel. I feel like that's between him and his wife.
Okay.
That's their personal business. You know what I mean? Because if anything, this was her chance. If she's going through anything with this man for real, this was her chance to be like, he's been doing this. He's been doing this.
Tarnish his name.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could take everything from this man right now. But
so,
they went home, they talked, they're good.
Yeah. Especially their kids, because the kids are gonna tell the truth regardless.
Right.
But about this incident though, I feel like we can agree. I feel like it was handled appropriately. publicly addressed the situation, didn't shy away from it.
Yeah.
Admitted what happened, apologized. She apologized. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I feel like regardless though, he has to live through this. Like he has to go through this to the end of time, because no matter where he goes, he's going to get a question about it.
Right.
Comment section, internet trolls is just brutal.
Right.
He's never going to like be able to forget it. He's always going to be reminded of what happened. Right. So that's sort of 50-50 his punishment, if you ask me too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know?
Yeah, you get punished in the public eye. You know, you get punished in the public consciousness. Like,
right.
Because there's always going to, like you said, there's always going to be people in the comment sections. There's always going to be reporters.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's just, there's going to be a certain section of people, like my girlfriend included, that's going to think you're a piece of shit until the day you die. You know what I mean? And it's like, what can I say to that?
This is
like,
the second public figure that I've heard about.
Baby? Like listen, she's got strong opinions. And she's usually correct. So, you know, like I'm not gonna come at her.
But just to clear it up, in no way, shape, or form we condone domestic violence
at
in
all.
any shape or form.
At all. Like men,
at all.
Unless that woman has a weapon in her hand and she is trying to kill you, there's no reason, in my opinion, for you to hit a woman. Like, unless that woman got you by 200 pounds, you know what I'm saying? She trying to take you out. There's no reason for you to, like, this is.
And if you really want to, go into a Muay Thai gym, just ask who's competing and spar them. And then you'll never want to hit another woman again because you'll be afraid.
Right. Right.
For sure.
Right. So, men, be smart.
But since we're on that topic, though, and since we're in New York, a lot of females like to put hands on males. Now.
So now let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because
and look, a lot of these females is tall now, so
you know what I'm saying?
I feel bad for y'all short men, because they like 5'10", 5'11", hovering over y'all, and I find that's kind of intimidating. So when they roll up on y'all and they putting hands on y'all, what do y'all do?
I'm not gonna lie. The thing that's getting me, like, see, I don't mind athletic looking women. Like, some guys don't like the way. I think athletic women look great.
My girl's a bodybuilder, man.
Like, I think it looks great. Now, once they start looking like Ronnie Coleman, you see, like, once I see them flex in front of me, and I know, they can just throw me.
Now, ask yourself this, okay? Now, I mean this in the most respectful way possible, but like, do you think that like intimidates you as a man to like see that a woman is like more physically strong? Do you think that makes you feel like, oh, maybe like I'm not in the place I should be? Or is that just strictly like an aesthetic thing? Like you just prefer women who are a little more petite?
So I'm not gonna lie to you. If a woman walks up on me, any woman, I don't care who it is, and I know they exist, but if they walk up on me and they look crazy ripped, and I look at me and I go, like, God damn, yeah, I'm gonna be a little jealous, because I'm just like, dang, she's in shape and I'm not in the kind of shape I want. I wish I looked like better.
To inspire you to work hard.
Yeah, but outside of that, like, it's not like, okay, I don't like the fact that this woman can most likely probably beat me in a wrestling match, or that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me is women who are like that are overly aggressive.
Oh man,
yeah,
combo.
Yeah, like I can't do it. I can't do it.
Some of them will little boy you in that gym.
You don't feel me?
Will little boy you in that gym.
Let's even go a step further. The hood chicks. You find chicks in the hood, them big hood chicks. There's chicks in the hood whom are big and want to scrap.
Mm-hmm.
I love them as people. I love them as friends. But once they are that person at you, I'm sorry, I'm walking away. I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, first of all, half those women got me. Like, I'm a small dude, bro. Like, I'm gonna just keep it 1,000. I'm a small dude, and it doesn't matter how good my sparring is. Some of these girls will eat some of my punches like it's breakfast. Like, I know, like, if anybody in my neighborhood is listening to this podcast, there's a couple of y'all in this neighborhood that I know can eat me like a snack. Y'all crazy. I'm telling you, there's women like that on this very block.
And more power to you.
I'm telling you, bro. For the record, there's women on this.
Don't get that shit.
You know what I'm saying? My thing is, when it comes to a man and a woman, like, for example, I don't think it's a problem for men and women to spar. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem. So, and this is kind of I'm just going to segue into it. Men who have sex changes and do women's sports, but we're going to obviously, because this is a combat podcast, we're going to talk about in combat sports.
So here's my thing with that. All right, just to
and no disrespect to anyone. Just once again, we're going to put that out there. We're not trying to disrespect. These are just our opinions.
So just to get right into it, like, it's not a problem in the sense that there's no one actually doing it in combat sports. There's one person and she is not that good. Like, so I don't personally, like, you can talk about the principle of it. Like, should it be okay? Should it not be okay? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's like, I think people are overblowing a problem that isn't even really like an issue. People,
it's not really a problem yet.
There's like 3 athletes that are like at any level that should be, notable, that are transgender. And it's just like none of them are in the fucking Olympics, like none of them are at the top levels of the sport. Like, I just don't understand why it's such a big deal. I think you could deal with every situation individually.
Right. Well, there was this kid, this is probably like a year ago or so, maybe, I'm not sure when, but there's a kid in college that had a sex change. He became a woman and he started swimming I
remember that story.
I was going to bring that up.
Right. So he went in there and destroyed every single record. Like, destroyed all the women's records for almost every swimming race, beating everybody, not losing at all. He's just destroying everything.
And I was looking into that, and some of the comments, are brutal as always.
Right.
But some of them feel like, because they said some men feel like they can't be the best at their own gender, they would rather switch and do it the easy way.
So here's my thing about that. Okay. I don't think that put it like this.
I didn't agree to that though.
I've played sports. I was not good at football. I was not particularly good at hockey. I mean, I could skate, like I could do the technical aspect, but like I was never like a physically very competitive team sports person. Right. Not once in my mind did I consider becoming a woman so that I could be better.
And to agree to that though, I do universally think it's wrong in a certain sense, because like I'm not saying we are, but like some of us are kind of dominant in some sports. Like, I don't see why a man should be fighting a woman. Like, it's clear, it's evident that it shouldn't be happening. Mm-hmm. Now, there's some women out there that can take on some men. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But when it comes down to it, it's like, it shouldn't be happening at all.
I just don't see the point of it from a competitive standpoint.
Right.
But I mean, honestly, if a woman came into the UFC and wanted to compete in the men's division, I'd watch it.
Yeah, but fight.
But if a man came into the women's division, I think you can deal. I think we're at the point where you can deal with every case individually, because it's such a rare thing that people get so bent out of shape about. Because I don't know if you guys know many of these, like it's often younger people who are like non-binary or trans or they're not really into sports. Like they're more into Discord and the internet than they are really into sports. Again, more power to them. Do your thing. But I don't think the sporting world is really at risk of being taken over by men transitioning to women. I just don't see it being a major issue. And if it is, we can deal with it at that point. But like if we're talking about like junior college, like records in swimming, how big of a deal is it? Like I mean, what if to the women?
My thing is, repeat that.
Like if we're talking about like the level that these athletes that we're talking about are competing at, has no like effect on like the best of the best, right? Mm-hmm. So if like you're going to like a community college in Arkansas and a transgender woman starts breaking swimming records for your college, like I'm not trying to throw shade on people who go to community colleges in Arkansas, but like who cares? Like honestly, like I understand to the women who were there, but like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't think it's that big of a deal personally.
For the school, they gain, but I feel like for the individuals themselves, they lose something because you know what I mean? Okay, a man competing in a women's league, it takes away from her potentially winning or breaking a record herself. But somebody in the way.
I definitely see the I definitely see the perspective of the female at birth athletes in that sport. Like I get that 100%.
But onto the male side, it's like a 50-50 battle here. I won't see, because a lot of women, they want to compete with men. They want to battle with men, but to see them like, I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like in the combat sports, I don't see that happening. Basketball, it's evident.
Yeah.
Track, it's kind of evident. Like there's very fast female athletes, but
if you look at the numbers, they are different.
Yeah, it's way different. So imagine the men going to the women though. Like
yeah,
that's crazy.
It's such a fraught situation, right? Because like anytime that you take a firm stance on something like this, there's going to be someone with an example that's going to make you feel like an asshole, right? Like if you take a firm stance, like no transgender athlete should ever be allowed to compete women's sports as a man. Someone's going to come up and be like, my 120-pound, born male at birth child just wants to run track. Like that's all they want to do, but they identify as a woman and they're not even that fast and they just want to run. And like, if you say that they can't, it's really going to break their heart. And like, just let them run. Like why, they're not even going to win against the women. And then you're gonna be like, damn, like, okay, I feel bad. Like, like taken away from this child. But at the same time, it's like, what if a man comes in and starts beating up women in combat sports?
This is what gets weird.
A born male at birth transition to female. Right. I'm trying.
No. The thing is like this. Like, I'm not against any. Well, it might not be my preference. It might not be something I would say go do. But if you're a person who is a male or a female and you believe you're the opposite sex, you have that God-given free will to go.
This is a free country.
You know what I'm saying? Do and be whoever you want. Do I think, and this because like you said, if that's the case, then we should let WNBA players play in the NBA. Forget WNBA, NBA. Everybody playing one joint. Women, men, everybody. One sport. Let's go.
But how many women would actually get drafted,
But this is what I'm saying. This is the point. The point is, it's like, okay, we have men's and women's for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's undeniable.
Now, don't get me wrong. As far as basketball, it's almost, I almost want to say even when it comes to, I guess, skill to a degree.
Yeah. Because technically.
Well, no, because I don't want to get that deep into that. But
still, okay, yeah.
Technically, the WNBA
they both can play basketball, and they both can handle the ball. They both can shoot. A man and a woman, they can both do it.
There's a physical difference.
They're stronger, right? They're not. Most of those women are not stopping Shaq in the post. But you know what I'm saying? But they can play, sure. Right? Now, this is basketball. Now you're talking about things like bodybuilding. You're talking about swimming. You're talking about combat sport. You're talking about things that require a specific physical strength.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. Basketball, you need physical strength too. But if you play smart and I don't have to post up, I'll just shoot the ball the whole time.
And no one's getting hurt,
You know what I mean? It's a different type of getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? But if females are playing football,
that's the issue.
You know what I'm saying? If females are boxing with men, if females are playing soccer with, you know what I'm saying? Like, soccer's kind of dangerous.
You see what I'm saying? It just depends. I feel like now it just depends on what sport we're really talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
but I think 100% it should not be allowed in combat sports that a male should be allowed to become a female and fight women.
That's wrong.
I think it's wrong.
I personally agree with that.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Although
because at the end of the day, you can change you can chop whatever you want to chop off. You can have whatever. At the end of the day, you are still John Doe with male genetics.
And you had 15 years of testosterone or whatever it is,
And your bone structure is different. Everything is different about you. You can't change your bone structure. Okay, maybe you got rid of a rib or two.
So here's my thing about that. Like, I think that there's one transgender MMA competitor. I forget their name.
In UFC?
Not in the UFC. In a very small league that is only notable because they're transgender. But here's the thing. They're not that good. They're getting beat by biological women. Mm-hmm. So I just don't think to me, to me, it is not an issue that even needs like people to like take a hard stance. Like, no transgender athletes in combat sports. Like, okay,
or you could just put all the transgenders just one combat sports for them, and they.
I do think that maybe there should be like some sort of open league.
And that's what I'm saying. If they have something for them, because
they're people too. There's a lot. Right. Of, and if they want to compete, I think that they should be able to compete. And I think that that's something that needs to, because all kinds of people can have that drive to compete, and I think that everyone has the right to that. And I just think that as a society, we need to figure out how to accommodate all of our members, because people need to stop acting like this is some ultra rare thing that people want to be transgender, or not even that people want to be, but that people are, it's not super rare anymore. To see it in sports is still very rare, but it's going to become more common. And I think that we need to have a discussion about how to properly make everyone feel like they're able to compete in something that they love, because at the end of the day, all competition comes from passion and really wanting to be good at something. We shouldn't be able to tell people, oh, you can't have that drive to be good at something because of like who you are. I think that that's fucked up too. In the same sense that I would think that someone who transitions to a female and goes in and, beats up on biological women, that's not something that I would like to see personally. It's also like, I don't want to completely shut down the idea of transgender people competing in sports, because I don't know, man, like as someone who has a drive to compete, like I love competition. I got 3 brothers all within like 5 years of each other. I grew up competing, like I played multiple sports. Like I get that. So if someone has that in them and they want to compete, like I understand that. And I feel like there should be a place for them. I don't know what that is. I don't know how that's going to be figured out. But I do think that that's a discussion we need to have from a point of view of like, okay, I want you to be able to compete. How are we going to figure that out? As opposed to you shouldn't be able to compete, period. If that makes sense.
Okay. I do feel like with the world changing and, a lot of things happening, I do see a sports events with like transgender people.
Yeah.
I do see it.
Yeah. I think that I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how it's going to be all worked out. I think it's way above my pay grade personally. Like I'm still, learning and growing, and like, cause I was raised, just to give a little bit of my background, like I was raised in a very religious household.
Same.
And I was brought up to believe that, just straight up, we'll get into this. This isn't that type of podcast, but like I was raised to believe that being gay was absolutely wrong.
Right.
And like growing up and growing out of that and meeting gay people that, I really like my good friends, and people that I care about and that I respect, is like, it really brought me out of my box to a sense where I don't judge people just based on who they are anymore, and like, even I remember reading a book when I was a kid, like my parents had this book that was about this guy who was gay. And then he apparently like turned back from not being gay because of Jesus, and he found religion. And then I remember looking him up like 3 or 4 years ago. I was like, whatever happened to that dude? He's gay. Like he's gay again.
Right.
/ always was
end,
gay.
Like,
like that's just some people.
See, the thing is, I think the problem is when you get to that subject, whether it's with sports, whether it's with anything, the idea is, like we talked about, we just said, let's just say there was a transgender league for combat sports or basketball, whatever. The problem becomes that people are shunning the fact that this person is not attracted to the opposite sex. Like that's the first thing that's a problem for them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's a man that likes men, or she's a woman that likes women. That's forget I want to become a man or woman or whatever. The first problem becomes that they see, oh, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, immediately people assume that it's a moral failure.
Right. At the end of the day, everyone has free will.
in their own preference. And me personally, I have no issue with anybody that decides to do what they want to do with their own life.
You listen,
you know? Like, it's not like you said,
I
not
also,
my life.
Right.
You know? I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what's going on in your head. Like, I've had my own mental struggles. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, not in that sense, but like, if that's something, like, mental struggles are real. So if you're living every day thinking like, I am in the wrong body, like, I can't even imagine what that's like, man.
Right.
Like, I cannot even imagine. Like, I've been through points where I do not like myself. You know, I think we all have. We can all speak to points where it's like, you don't want to be yourself, you know, so to live with that every day with a very clear picture of like for me, what got me out of that was self-improvement, you know, and like really dedicating time to finding myself and being better in myself and getting into a good relationship with a woman that loves me for me, you know, and like.
And congrats to you for that, man.
Yeah, man.
And like, but if you're struggling, you know, with not even feeling like you're in the right body to begin with, how can you make any of that progress?
Right.
You know what I mean? How can you make any of that progress when you look in the mirror and you don't see yourself like that? I have massive empathy for anyone and then takes that jump. Right. Because like, you got to realize, man, like to take that jump and transition has got to be the most terrifying thing, like to anybody. Cause you know, you're going to be ridiculed.
Right.
You know, like even just walking down the street, you're going to have fucking teens looking at you, laughing at you. I've seen it. I've heard it. You know?
To speak on that too, yeah, not to cut you off, but firsthand, a lot of them they're just discriminated or bullied or something to them because they don't decide to be what everybody else feels is normal. You know what I mean?
And I think that's why some of them want to be fighters.
Yeah. Or just compete at all because they want to show like, I am good at something.
Right.
Like I'm not just a transgender person. Like I'm a person who has skills and interests, you know? And that's why I have so much empathy for people that want to compete, that have been through that and have been through the transition and everything like that, because that's, I imagine that the desire to want to prove that you're something other than a spectacle, right? Because people are just going to think of you as, oh, the transgender athlete. Like they don't want to be that. They just want to be an athlete.
Right.
You know, so like and that's why, like, I think this situation has to be approached with a certain type of empathy, you know, towards people, and not just a sense of, how do I say this? Like, you want to preserve the integrity of the competition and make the competition as pure as possible and as fair as possible. I do think that people get a little bit overwhelmed in that. Not that that's a wrong mindset to have, but I think people lose sight of the fact that all of these athletes and these competitors are people, you know, and like people deserve to be respected and be validated and have their, like, if they're good at something, they want to do it. You know, like imagine if you were a great swimmer, like that person who transitioned who was a swimmer. And as soon as you make a life choice, because they were a swimmer before, you know, and you make a life choice that you feel like is going to improve your life and make you feel like the person that you were meant to be. But to do that, you have to give up something that you've been training at your entire life. Like that's tough, man. Like, so I just think that the conversation, and I don't have an answer, should be approached from a different perspective than I think a lot of people approach it, especially online where you're anonymous and you don't see other people as people. And I think that's a big downfall of our society is that we have all these conversations online, not face to face. You know, when you're talking about transgender athletes, you don't have someone sitting there explaining to you their perspective on it. Right. You know, you're able to just judge from what you believe is an objective point of view, but it's not, because you're not seeing, you're looking at the numbers and you're not looking at the people as actually people, you know? Right. So that's my point, is like, I feel like it just needs to be approached from a different perspective. Right. You know, no matter what the outcome is, just open your mind a little bit, you know, and try to think about the struggles that everyone goes through with this. Because if you want biological women and the people that want to compete that were born male, you know,
if you want to be technical, Amanda Nunes was training in a gym with all men. There were no females in there. Like she trained with all men all the time. That's who she trained with. Now, I don't think she's still there, but as far as I know, you know, she trained with them for a while. And, you know, a lot of them used to say she used to spar with some of them. They said, listen, bro, don't sleep. She used to beat some of us up.
Yeah. No
you
doubt.
know, and
competitive nature, man.
you know, so do I think there should be once again, a place for there to be like a co-ed type of maybe fighting league or sport and just sports in general? Yeah, absolutely.
So that leads me into kind of an interesting thought that just sort of popped into my head.
Mm-hmm.
We know that a lot of these fighters, Alonzo Menafield is walking out right now, and you can look at this dude and be like, this dude's on some gear, man.
Monster.
This dude's roided up, which personally I don't think is a moral issue. Like, if you want to do steroids, I don't think that you're a bad person.
I don't think you should do it in combat sports.
I don't think you should do it just for the sake of the competition.
Competing here.
But I understand why people do it. Now, here's an interesting thought that just popped into my mind. So we all know steroids, like they increase your testosterone production.
Right.
Right. And that's what allows you to get stronger is you have more of the testosterone hormone.
Right.
When women take steroids, it's that exact same effect. It's the testosterone hormone.
Right.
Right. So, and we all know that a lot of women in combat sports surely have to be on steroids, right?
Absolutely.
So how should that be treated in terms of, we're talking about men transitioning into women.
Mm-hmm.
What about women who do steroids that basically give them the hormones of men, but still compete with women? It's just an interesting idea that just popped into my mind. Like, how do we view that?
Well, my thing is, Mike Tyson said something that I kind of agreed with. He said, I feel like,
oh boy,
you should.
Mike Tyson says a lot of shit, brother.
So he said, I feel like that if you want to take steroids in sports, it should be okay, except the sports where you're getting physically hit in the head. So he was like, boxing and kickboxing and MMA and all that, there should not be steroids allowed. Maybe not even in football because, you know, you're getting torn apart.
You look at football players, bro, they get tested like twice a year. You'd have to be an idiot to get caught getting tested twice a year when you know when the test is.
Yeah. I mean,
they're all roided up,
maybe not as much as they used to in UFC, but I mean, come on. You know, Nate Diaz put everybody on blast earlier.
That's football players. Now, UFC, they have to have an app on their phone that when the app texts them, they have to get tested within like 3 hours or
from that message.
And you get like 3 misses before you get basically like cut, more or less.
Well, okay.
You can only miss so many tests.
So this is
they
the
will
thing.
show up at your house.
This is the thing about combat sports. I don't know if it's just MMA because I know when in Ryzen that they allowed you to take steroids
In Pride, yeah.
Pride.
They literally. So I forget which fighter it was, but there was maybe it was Josh Thompson. Just actually posted a picture of his Pride contract, right? So in the Pride contract from I believe it was the early 2000s, like 2003 or something like that. There was a clause in the contract that says we test for illegal drugs, you know, marijuana, cocaine, because that's very big in Japan. They're very anti-drug.
Yeah, they don't play that.
So
your man's Paul McCartney is still banned from Japan from like
the
serious. 60s, 70s. Like he came over there with weed one time and he's been banned for life. He tried to go out there like maybe 5-6 years ago and they were like, nah.
They do not fuck with that shit at all. So
you out.
In the contract, it said we test for illegal drugs. And then right below that, I'm pretty sure it was in bold too. It might have been all caps. It says we do not test for steroids.
Which is great.
That is look at those guys,
crazy,
man.
Bro.
There were some crazy freaks. Just oh
man.
My God. Overeem.
The Pride days. You mean Ubereem?
Ubereem, bro.
Your man Ubereem, that man was a monster.
Since we're talking about the roids, y'all heard about what Bobby Green said about Islam in Dagestan?
Oh yeah, in Russia.
Oh yeah, in Russia.
Have you guys seen the documentary about? You know why the Russian Olympic team was banned?
Yep.
Because they had a state-sponsored steroid program, like as in the government.
Yep.
Because one of Russia's. You got to understand the mentality of Russia, right? Because again, we were talking about this earlier. The Russians have been the villain of the Western world for such a long time that they kind of have accepted that role in terms of sports and been like, okay, our guys are going to be the scariest, best. No one will want to face the fucking Russian athletes. You know, the Olympics have been huge for Russia. So they had a state-sponsored steroid program. I mean, there was
nuts.
There was a Russian, I think she was a gymnast or a figure skater. She was like 15 and she popped for steroids. I believe it was at the Olympics. I think she was on because they made the Russian Olympic Committee which was like a separate from the Russian state so that they could still compete in the Olympics. We all know it's still a Russian state. But there was a whole documentary called Icarus that was about the Russian state-sponsored steroid program. So all their athletes, I guarantee you, are on steroids. Now, in terms of the Dagestanis, that's a little different because you got to know a little bit about the history of that region because they are not ethnically Russian. They're from the Balkans. They are Muslim, which is not, something that Russia has historically. Communist Russia was very against it, and then modern day Russia is still very biased against Chechnya and Dagestan, which are the Muslim Russian countries. Because Russia is more of an entity than it is one country because it's so big. Right?
It's huge, bro.
And they encompass
like
a lot of
120 million
groups.
people or something.
Yeah, and so many different ethnic groups. So when we think Russian, we think white St. Petersburg Russians. But the Dagestanis, they are technically Russian, but historically and ethnically, they have not been considered Russian or considered equal to Russian. It's almost like this is not at all an equal comparison, but it's like how we're Americans, but we're different ethnic groups. And then there are some ethnic groups that are still Americans, but are very discriminated against, like the Native Americans, for example. Like they are actually Americans, but they're not treated in the same way at all. It's kind of the same way with the Dagestanis and the Chechens, and they've actually been genocided by the Russian state multiple times. So I would be interested to know just how much the Russian state has to do with their athletic programs, considering the discrimination against them by Russia in the past. But they also have their own dictator, Kadyrov, who is basically running the Chechnyan show, who I'm sure has his fingers in the pockets of everybody and has so who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised if they were on steroids.
I'm sorry, sidebar. I am being haunted by wrestling and grappling and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, bro. I'm like, yo, every fight, like it's like ever since Khabib decided to leave, everybody's like, I gotta become a dope wrestler. Everybody, because I've never seen Jimmy Crute wrestle.
Yeah, I think he just got knocked out, and he needed to change his game up a little bit.
Because this dude is wrestling right now.
He is only wrestling.
Like the information you gave about the Russians and the Dagestanians, I feel like I like talks like this because it was very informative. I didn't know none of that. I didn't know about the discriminatory said about the Dagestanians and then the Russians.
Yeah.
Very informative.
There have been wars between the Islamic Russians and the sort of the mainstream, I guess you would call them, the Slavic.
So it's almost like
Russians.
a blood feud type of thing?
More or less, yes. And that's something that's actually been a major issue now in the war against Ukraine, is basically Russia's calling all their people to be like, hey, go fight in this war for us. And a lot of the Chechens and the Dagestanis are like, no, like we don't fuck with you like that. Like what are you talking about? Like you just fought a war against us. Now you want us to go fight a war against your enemies? Like we're not about that. Like you already took our land. We're not going to help you take somebody else's. Right. Because that's their land. Those mountains are their mountains. Like Russia just kind of took them.
Oh, I think he got this.
He got that choke.
He got this. Oh!
His head popped out like a Pez dispenser.
Look, see, wrestlers.
He's dominating him. Wow.
See, I like wrestlers that transition to other things.
Right. Oh, that left hand.
Hug you
just
for like
laying
5
prayers.
minutes.
Yep.
Oh, left hand. Watch yourself. Oh, Jimmy's tired.
Strong.
Jimmy's
he
tired.
He gassed himself going for that choke.
Yeah. Watch your arm. Watch your arm.
For those of you that want to watch along, we're at 1:30 in the first round of the Jimmy Crute fight. If you happen to have a replay unauthorized by Dana White, go ahead and pop that on real quick.
Is he about to choke him out? No, I was
got
about to say,
a
what the heck?
5-finger guillotine under his chin. Do you see that? That's a nasty choke.
But
man,
see,
where you lock the
Jimmy's
fingers
burnt
under
out.
his chin.
Jimmy's burnt out. He's got a minute to work. Come on, get that boy some work. It's over.
He cut the mullet, man. He lost his power when he cut the mullet.
Yo, hammer fist him right there. Oh, come on, bro. Hammer fist him right there.
He's tired as well.
But hammer fist
has never
right
been
there.
known for his gas tank.
Never, but still, hammer fist this boy.
See, what is he doing? Like
hammer fist this boy. Oh my gosh.
Are they both wrestlers that have wrestling backgrounds?
I'm not. I know
Menifield definitely wrestles like in the UFC. I'm not sure about his wrestling background.
I've never seen him have like, as far as I know, that I've never heard him mention a wrestling back. Thank you. That's all I've asked.
He's been kind of like a he's definitely grappled in fights, but it never seemed to be his
strength.
Oh,
did you see that little?
This is questionable.
That was nice.
What is he trying to do here?
I think Menefield is honestly just trying to rest, and Crute is
Yeah,
gassed
probably.
and hurt, and he's trying to recover.
Oh,
and
here we
he
go.
Saved his energy.
Let it go. Let it go. Let the hands go.
Trying to survive.
Wee. Oh, nice.
Ooh, he rocked him.
Oh, it's over.
Ooh,
It's
here-
over.
Oh,
Ref,
5
stop
seconds.
this. Ref, stop this.
Nope.
He's going.
Oh, no,
He's got the
no,
takedown,
no, my
though.
bad, my
He's
bad,
got
my
the
bad.
takedown.
My bad.
He's hurt bad though, man.
Yeah, it's about to be over for him.
I think if that had happened at the bell, that last knockdown.
Look at him. Look at him. Yeah, he's feeling it.
Oh, he survived.
Yeah, he survived.
He
I
got
thought
a
it was
double
supposed to be
leg in
over.
the
This
last
is a
couple
good
seconds.
fight, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, good fight.
Jimmy Crute always brings it. Like, say what you want about him, you know what I mean? But he's.
Oh,
a
I like
scrapper,
Jimmy
man.
Crute.
He's a scrapper.
I mean, he's got the Umbrella Corporation tattoo on his chest.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, honestly, hold on, I'm gonna stop this live. Bye, guys. As a person who, and I'm kind of piggybacking off of what we've been talking about this whole time.
yeah.
As a person who grew up in a very multicultural background, because growing up, my mom worked for a Jewish company.
Okay.
And in her working for that Jewish company, one of my first best friends was a Jewish girl. That was one of my first best
Girlfriend's
friends.
Jewish.
Yeah. So that was one of my first like real friends. Now, did I see her often? Not at all. But that was the only friend I could think of because my mom kept me in the house all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get to like hang out in the neighborhood. You know, growing up in the 80s, you know, you're not running around the neighborhood too much and playing and going to this person's house. No, you'll just come to work with me and you'll hang out with Jordana. Shout out Jordana. I don't even know if you remember me, but I remember you.
Jordana, hit my boy up. He's single.
I am not
Just
single.
I'm playing.
Oh my God.
Edit.
Oh my God.
You might
Cut it.
Oh
I
man.
apologize.
Nah, you're all good, bro.
Don't come from.
Oh, look, we're back at the same point. But as a person that grew up with so much multiculturalism around, like I used to ask my mom all the time, what kind of like city or town or whatever would you ever want to live in? And my mom always used to say, I want to live in a city or town where there's 2 Indians over there, there's 2 Japanese, there's 2 Chinese,
Mhm.
there's 2. She just wants 2 of everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how I was
community.
raised. Yeah, it's like she just, you know, multicultural community.
Learn from each other, you know?
Right. So
People would do cool shit.
now, don't get me wrong. 80s and 90s TV was brainwashing.
Mm.
It was so brainwashing.
Now, I didn't grow up with a television, actually. That's a funny story about me, and I'm younger than you. So tell me what you mean by that.
The reason why I say that is because for years, I did not know I was black. I thought people with lighter skin were white and people with darker skin were black.
Mm.
My skin wasn't that dark, so I didn't know. So my mom heard me say it one day. I was like maybe 3, 4. And I forgot, I guess she heard me say something. And I was just like, you know, she was like, wait, what did you say? And I was just like, I'm white. And she goes, you're what? And I said, we're white. Me and you, we're white. And like my friend Al, he's black. And she goes, what makes you say that? And I'm like, because my skin is lighter and his skin is darker.
Mm.
And the reason why it just didn't register right away as a kid, because, you know, you're watching all these 80s television and, you know, a lot of things were either whitewashed or
Mhm.
you know,
Or they had one black character. Yeah.
character. The white girl was considered like the super gorgeous babe that everybody wanted to get. You know, you didn't have many African-American or even ethnic people
Mhm.
put on that mantle
And
or that
if
pedestal.
they were characters. They were
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The only
Like the
thing,
Indian shopkeeper, like he wasn't
Yeah,
actually a person.
you know what I'm saying?
He was like a.
it wasn't until you
meme, if
started
you will.
being able to watch things like Family Matters, Martin, like when these shows, like when I started getting into these
Fresh
shows,
Prince.
Fresh Prince, you know what I'm saying? The Steve Harvey show. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to understand this a little bit more. And it even boiled over into when I watched combat sports, because we used to have, in this very room, my parents used to have fight parties. So, you know, boxing back in the day only came on cable in pay-per-view. Like the big fights, it was only pay-per-view. We didn't have pirated nothing. You couldn't do that. It just didn't exist. There was no internet.
I will say, just to cut you off for a quick second, I wish I would have like been alive for boxing in the 90s, man.
Oy.
90s, early 2000s. Like that to me, just like watching, I have a whole like case of boxing DVDs, like old fights. And I wish I could have seen some of those live, man. Cause it seemed like everybody loved boxing. But anyway, carry on.
So yeah, like when we would have these boxing parties, right? We'd have these parties, and when we'd have these parties, I didn't know any better. So I, was always like, white is more pure and good, and black was like a bad thing. So when I saw certain fighters, everybody's like rooting for, the black guy, and I'm over here, I want that guy to win. And the whole party looking at me like, you want who to win? Mind you, this is a house full of African Americans. You know what I'm saying? And Hispanic people.
Oh my God, Jimmy Crute got the choke.
Oh my God. Oh, wait. He might actually have. No, he don't have it.
They both tired. They're just hugging each other right now.
Anyway, carry on.
It was a good first round, ladies and gentlemen. So far, it looks like Jimmy Crute's like going to take this round.
This is the light heavyweight division, ladies and gentlemen, aka the gas division.
But as I got older, I started to understand. Oh wait, does he got it? He got it.
They got it.
10 seconds.
Don't tap. Don't do it.
He might go out.
Don't do it. Hold. Oh, he's getting the thumbs up. He's all right.
That don't mean shit.
He's good.
Might have been over the chin. Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
So, as I got older, I started to get to a point where I'm just like, okay, you start hearing things like black is beautiful and all that type of stuff. Of course, I knew I was, by that time, as I got to a certain age, I knew my ethnicity. I knew where what my family was from, and, ancestors and all this different types of stuff. And it wasn't until I got into my almost mid to late teens where I started to understand and respect my race more. Because I just didn't understand everything. To me, everything was like television. I should be able to walk out my door and ride my bike 3 blocks over and go to Mr. B's house and walk in, grab a piece of bacon off the table and sit there and be like, yo, what's up, bro? Yeah. Like that's the mindset.
Now, let me ask you a question. Like, as a white person, is it common for kids to like not realize like racism like in your community until they become more adult and they kind of are seen more as like I guess like a threat like by society, because like we all know that like unfortunately, and this shouldn't be the way that it is, but like black people have been classified as like more threatening. Like if you watch news stories, like if a white kid does something, it's like, oh, a young man who is the valedictorian of his high school steals a car. And if it's a black kid, it's like, oh, thug steals car, like, is that something that in your community, like as you grow older, do you kind of like become jaded by that? Like when you reach your teen years and you realize like people look at you differently?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I realized that firsthand at a young age. Man. At a young age. It's a program called the Fresh Air Fund.
Oh wow. I haven't heard Fresh Air Fund in years.
And
wow.
My mom put me in a program where it's like low income kids get a chance to go to another state and see what life is like on the other side. So I went to I love the family. Very beautiful family. The Rhodes, they're called the Rhodes. And they live in Pennsylvania. I'm not gonna say their address, but they live in Pennsylvania.
Like out there in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, and like the suburbs. That was my first time ever being in the house. I'd never been in the house. Like I live in a project. So being in the house, seeing a beautiful neighborhood, it was like like a lot. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. But the kid I'm with, Josh, right? His friends, they would go outside to play. And when I would go outside, they would go back home. And it was like, what is that about? Like, so I'm like, imagine I'm the only African American there. Everybody else is like, you could say white, right? And when I come outside, they go inside. I go back in the house, they come outside. So I'm like, what's going on? Like, yeah, it was just I faced like that young age.
That's tough for a kid, man, to realize that.
Then when I asked them what was wrong, they said, "Oh, you thought you was, going like bad." I'm like, "Why? What's that about?"
Yeah. And I feel like that mentality, like, kind of Because like as a kid, I was always told like I was the bad kid out of my brothers, not to compare it at all.
Right.
But like you kind of start to adopt that mentality. And I think a lot of kids, like when they're told that something's wrong with them, they're like, oh, if something's wrong with me, then I'm gonna be the wrongest motherfucker out here. You know what I mean? Like, that's tough, man. Like I grew up like right outside Baltimore City. I grew up in a, majority minority neighborhood is what we called it. Okay. I think it was like 95% non-white. And Baltimore is overall Baltimore City and County is 62% non-white. So it's like when I was a kid, I was exposed to a lot of different cultures. We had a basketball hoop in our driveway, and we were the only house on the block to have a basketball hoop. So everyone walking home from school and us being homeschooled, we were always outside, right? So we would be outside playing basketball, and everyone would be coming home from school, and everyone would just stop and play basketball at our house because we live right by the bus stop. So it's like we had no knowledge racism, right? Like my parents like moved from North Dakota, like fields. I'm talking like country to like inner city Baltimore in like the 80s. You know what I mean?
That's a
late 80s.
Weird culture shock right there.
So, but I'll give them credit. Like my parents are, I will say, RIP my dad. Like my parents were ignorant, but like they loved people, and they really like made an effort to like really accept people and learn about other cultures. Like my dad spoke fluent Spanish, like it was really, I value that part of my upbringing a lot because I never learned to hate. But then I went to a church that was in like a richer part of town. And that was the first place that I learned about racism, because they would talk about my neighborhood when they would say, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from Edgewood." They'd be like, "Oh, Edgewood. Oh my God, I don't even go there." And I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "Well, like, no, I really don't. Like, I really don't know like what you mean." They would always like just.
Well, it was that with Brooklyn back in the day. Yeah. Like you tell them you're from Brooklyn, they're like, "Oh, really? Like, what part of Brooklyn?" Anything past downtown was bad.
Yeah.
Once you passed like, Franklin, somewhere around there, once you get down that far, it's a wrap.
Yeah. And I kind of find that kind of interesting. Like, some people, when they talk to other people, they don't even tell them where they're from. Because they don't want that idea to circulate around somebody else's head to cloud their judgment. Like, for a while, I didn't even tell people I was from the project because, like,
oh yeah, don't say that.
Yeah, like, you want to start trying to cheat me? Like, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm just bad. I'm a rough kid. There's
people
more
have like
to
a
it.
preconceived notion of you.
Yeah,
and like when that's based not just on where you're from, but on your race, like that's got to be like, obviously, I'm not saying anything new here. You know what I mean? But like, the older I get, the more I realize like how much struggle people have to go through just to like make it in this world, like just to have people look at them like an equal is just to get to that baseline of like, okay, I have a shot, not even getting the shot, but like getting to the point where anyone will even look at you to give you a shot is a lot tougher for some people than it is for others.
The narrative.
I think that's why we are where we are, like in our martial arts journeys, like I think that, everybody has their own baggage. Everybody finds their own special place or, anywhere where they figure out what helps them and makes them feel better. And I feel like that outside of when I ran track, in high school, outside of doing what I do in, with my career, I feel like that the martial arts is what kind of kept my mental in check. Growing up, like honestly, if you guys would have seen my neighborhood before, all those houses across the street weren't there. All those houses wasn't there. It was literally our houses on this side of the block, and that was it. Anything that looked like my house was here, and everything else was just empty lots. It was like old school, crazy Camden, New Jersey, Baltimore, Detroit.
There's a lot of abandoned fucking neighborhoods,
like
where I'm from.
There was it was so big of a lot. Like I can look across the block and see the next street over's houses. You know what I'm saying? Like it was rough over here. I've seen people get shot left and right. I've seen guys steal cars, bring them over here, strip them, leave them in the lot. Like stray dogs. When have you ever seen a stray dog? in New York City.
Yeah, never in New York.
When I say there were packs of these motherfuckers, packs.
God damn.
Like wolf packs.
My man had fucking environmental dangers.
That shit on TV shows.
Yeah, you know, no, that shit is
like,
real, bro.
Fuck? That's some Walking Dead type
like,
shit.
bro, there were packs of like stray dogs, cats, you name it. They was, you know what I mean? Like the 80s was really fucked up over here. You know what I'm saying? And me as a person growing up with Carl Winslow on the mind and all these happy-go-lucky television shows that I watched, you know, Brady Bunch type shit and all that. I'm watching all this shit because this is what's influencing me.
It didn't reflect your reality.
Yeah.
You know?
And so in my head, I got so caught up in saying I could have a life like that and not realizing, you know what? That's not going to happen over here. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I got into fights. And when I got into fights, those fights resulted in getting jumped. So for me, it was a thing where I was, got Jesse. I knew it was going to happen. I saw it coming. No, you're good. But honestly, for me, it was just a thing where I was just like, I don't like the fact that when I try to defend myself, me defending myself turns into, oh yeah, you got to get stomped out. You can't defend yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that happened amongst my same peers, my same race, amongst black people. When I was around white people, that didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
You know what I'm saying? Because one of my first friends was a white girl.
And you know what the thing is too? There was like a class discussion I had, I think last semester. And, you know, when we were telling about our upbringing and stories that we went through, like when we telling the stories that we went through, like, okay, I grew up in the projects, you grew up in a neighborhood that wasn't so like normal, right? We're used to it. So when we tell these stories, they look at us like, that's not normal. To us, we see on every day, somebody got shot, store got robbed, somebody got beat up, somebody happened in a train station. That's normal to us. It's like, it's an everyday thing. Somebody else is like, bro, you're broken, bro. Like, that's not how you're supposed to live. You know? It's interesting. It's very interesting to even think that's normal when it's not.
Well, this is another reason why, like, when it comes to watching a lot of these guys on here, when I see how some of them, Jesse is all over the place today. When I see a lot of these guys tell some of their stories, when I see a lot of these guys talk about, hey, I've been through this, I've been through that, and things like that. And then some people want to sit there and give, like, you know, the whole, oh, you know, he doesn't know what look, man, I don't know what that guy's been through.
Everyone's got their own struggles. Like, you can only have your own perspective, you know? You can only have your own perspective. Like, so to someone like, and this is a very like exaggerated comparison, but like to someone who grew up with a lot of privilege, their cat dying might have the same effect on them as one of your friends dying. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily their fault. It's just they've never experienced what you've experienced. So like the way they're feeling can't necessarily be compared. You know, like it can't, you can only judge by what you've been through. Like, we're built by our experiences, you know? So it's like, you have to be able to acknowledge people when they say they have struggles. Like, if someone, you see it a lot, like people with a lot of privilege have a lot of mental struggles, right? Which is kind of like people without privilege don't kind of have the luxury of having mental struggles, right? Because you kind of just you got to do what you got to do regardless. You know, like if you have anxiety, like too fucking bad, you got to make some money. You know, you got to pay your fucking rent. You know, but if you have privilege, you still have that struggle and you're allowed to deal with that in a certain way, but it doesn't invalidate your struggle. You know, it doesn't invalidate like what you've been through as well. So you kind of have to come at it like understanding where everyone comes from before having discussion. Cause it's not, I've heard people describe it. The funniest way is like, it's not the trauma Olympics, right? Like, it's not a competition. Like who's been through worse? Like, have you been through worse? Have I been through worse? Have you, you know, it's not a competition of who has had the shittiest life and made the best out of it. It's like, where can we meet each other and find common ground and understand each other's perspectives and validate what each other has been through without like trying to down somebody else.
Yep.
Either for growing up in the projects or for not growing up in the projects.
Right.
You know?
And I can agree to that, man. I just wish that we could all come together. Like, you know what else I thought about the other day too? What if none of this racism shit ever existed? What if nobody came to somebody else's home and fucked it up? And
it's the thing is this. Like, if you want to go back to like the Matrix, the what did they always say? The problem is choice. You know? And within the Matrix, the difference is that their thing was, okay, the problem's not the choice. You've already made it. You just have to figure out why you made that choice. You know? Whereas in here, it's a little bit different. You know, this is, technically the real world. It might be in the Matrix. We don't know, ladies and gentlemen. But
yet to be decided.
But at the same time, like at the end of the day, once again, mentioning growing up in church, they say God knows what you're going to do before you do it. And which I think is kind of weird, but at the same time, it's because he created us. He knows what you're thinking. He knows what you're going to do. This is why they say he knows what you're going to do before you do it, because he knows what you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows what we can handle, what we can't handle. So for example, a person who has, an eating disorder, you put some ice cream in front of them, they're going to eat that shit. You know what I'm saying? A person who has a drug problem, you put drugs in front of them, they're going to use that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
we all have our demons.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's because I don't want to dive too deep, deep, but okay. We're going to go to a commercial break. My cameraman is informing me that we only have 2 minutes on the camera. So we're going to go to commercial break because I also have to use the bathroom.
This is so fire.
Sure.
Now that's money back guarantee.
Money on my mind, the objects to get more of it. Money, man. I said money on my mind, the objects to get more of it. Money on my mind, the objects to get more of it.
All right, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we got kind of caught up with the timing in the camera. I got to keep focused on the timing with my cameraman because
What are you talking about? We were getting paid right there by sponsors.
Oh yeah, right. Little C's, man. The garlic crust pizza.
Listen, you got to speak it into existence.
I'll take some of that right now.
Little Caesars, if you're listening,
Little Caesars.
Hit me up.
I will not discriminate, Little Caesars.
I want to try that new crispy parm pizza.
I don't care if you came in here and said, "Listen, we'll sponsor you, but you're only eating pizza with with green peppers on it all the time." I'm eating them green peppers.
Chomp chomp.
Wait, so since we talking about pizza though, which I think is the best one out of these commercial brands,
like Domino's, Little Caesars,
the commercial brands. Yeah.
All right, so first of all, Pizza
That's a
Hut
tough one.
trash. Okay,
Pizza Hut used to be the shit, bro.
Which ones are the worst? Okay, which ones?
Pizza Hut used to be the shit. They were the first ones that came out with the stuffed crust pizza.
I respect that, but Pizza Hut is trash.
It is trash.
I gotta have it again. I gotta try. I haven't had it in years. So
stuffed crust pizza?
No, Pizza Hut.
The most recent time I had it, I think it was like at a kid's birthday party, like a couple years ago.
I'm sorry.
That shit is like a cake. Like, first of all, it's like 1 inch, 2 inches thick.
They gave you the Chicago style pizza.
Like it's not good. It's not good. It's like thick and heavy. Like, and listen, I know I just moved to New York like 6 months ago, but there's better pizza like where I'm from. You feel me? Like there's this chain called Pat's where I'm from. They're the same way. They're trash. Okay. Fuck this thick ass pizza that you just pile shit on it and call it good. Like, it's not good. Like, the ingredients aren't good. You just think if there's more of it, people are gonna like it. It's not good. Anyway, Pizza Hut, trash. Okay. Papa John's, a little less trash. The garlic sauce is good, still trash. Domino's is near the top for me in terms of commercial brands, and Little Caesars, just because I have a soft spot in my heart for them, because that was where we went every Saturday when my mom was working. My dad would work throughout the week, and my mom worked Saturdays. So like, that was, my dad couldn't cook for shit, so we would go to Little Caesars. I'm telling you, I've seen the man put a whole chicken into a pot of water and just cook it.
Well, he just made you he just boiled the chicken?
A boiled chicken.
No salt, pepper, nothing?
No, salt, pepper. My dad don't know what that is. He don't know what that is.
Oh, man.
He's afraid of that.
Oh, man.
Okay. So anyway, Little Caesars, in terms of
R.I.P.
commercial
Dad.
brands,
Respects Dad.
big ups to Brad. But like, so that holds a soft spot in my heart. So I won't necessarily say it's the best, but it's my favorite in terms of commercial brands.
Got you. Me personally, I don't really like any commercial brand pizza. If I am going to eat it, it's got to be Domino's, but I'm not a fan of any, like they're not in none of them are my top 5, top 10.
Okay, tell me your favorite New York pizza. Since you're native New Yorkers.
Wait. We gotta order these pizzas so we can try this shit out because I gotta know. I haven't had Pizza Hut in like years.
Pizza Hut to me is nah. Wait, we forgot Sbarro.
What?
Trash.
Sbarro used to be the shit back in the day. You never see Sbarro in the city?
All I'm saying is they have it in Times Square.
It's trash now.
If they have it in Times Square, it's trash.
It's trash, yeah.
That's where places go to die.
Yeah, like honestly, if I am going to eat one of those style of pizzas, I'm going to get Domino's.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
They're the best crust.
Yeah, like I'm going with Domino's.
The seasoned bottom.
But other than that, nah. I need good old fashioned thin crust, saucy,
Where you get
cheesy
your pizza, John?
Pizza.
Maverick.
There's a spot right on Utica and St. John's called Tony's Pizza. I used to eat this pizza as a kid. It's still slapping till now. It's fire. Another spot that's super fire, downtown Brooklyn on Fulton Street called Not Ray's Pizza.
Yo, I drive past that all the time. I've always wanted to try
Not
that.
Ray's Pizza is fire, bro.
Next time I drive past there, every Wednesday for work, I'm in that neighborhood, I'm getting a pizza next time.
Not Ray's Pizza is the shit. I fuck with Not Ray's
Slutty
Pizza.
Vegan.
Yep.
How about you?
My favorite pizza. So let's be clear here. I have only moved to New York fairly recently. I'm from Baltimore originally. Baltimore is not known for pizza. Okay. So like all I could say, the best pizza like where I'm from is like you call it like Ocean City pizza, right? So the best pizza
Ocean City Pizza.
So Ocean City.
Not sure how I feel about that.
Ocean City, Maryland borders right on Ocean City, New Jersey, right? So where
Okay.
In Maryland, there's a bay. So there's the eastern shore of the bay, there's the western shore of the bay. Western shore is where Baltimore is, it's where DC is, it's where like everything is. If you go over to the eastern shore, that's where the beach is, right? So you go to the beach and then you can go straight up the beach, you'd be in Jersey. So all the best pizza is at the beach because it's right by Jersey and that's where all the tourists come. So all the people that are actually like from New York, from New Jersey, that's where they went to open pizza shops. So there's some decent pizza up there. Lido's is good. Dough Roller is trash. If you're ever in Ocean City, Maryland,
Dough Roller. That actually sounds that sounds fire.
They got some other good food. Their pizza is not good. But there's this place called Shotty's in Ocean City.
Oh, I heard about them.
Shotty's is fire. I'm telling you right now, Shotty's, go to Shotty's. SHOTTIES. He is there day to day. The man is cool as shit. His name is Shotty. He's like an old school skater dude, like punk.
Yo,
there's
these
a guy,
heavyweights is wild.
When we were there was this like exchange student from Albania, and his only job was making pizzas, bro. And he was just cranking these motherfuckers out. And he actually forgot.
Oh shit!
He knocked his diamond in his ass.
Oh,
what are you even doing?
Shit, that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's like you
those Polynesians are different, bro. Their
that
bones
dude,
are thicker.
Oh my god! Look. He's like, oh my god. I'm all right.
Yeah, you were saying Shotty's.
Sorry, Shotty's.
Go to Shotty's.
After he gets this dude just called a shot.
When we were there, because my girlfriend's mom, she actually lives in Delaware, but Delaware, New Jersey, and Ocean City, Maryland are all like,
yeah, I'm about to say they're just like an island off of New Jersey.
Yeah, pretty much. But the dude like forgot our pizza, so eventually like he went back, like he actually came over and apologized. He was like, I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm gonna get it in right now. It was out in like 5 minutes. One of the best pizzas I've had in Maryland. You know what I mean? So go to Shotty's. They're super cool. You know what I mean? They're good folks. Like they were very attentive, very good service. I just want to shout them out. They're not paying me. They should. Shotty, hit me up.
Shotty's, when I get down there, you're my first stop. I promise.
In New York, so far, my favorite pizza has been mainly pizza in my neighborhood, honestly. Angelo's, right around the corner from me on Flatbush Avenue in Cortelyou, and Brooklyn Pizza 2. I've never been to Brooklyn Pizza 1 for the
Brooklyn
record.
Pizza 2 is fire.
But Brooklyn Pizza 2 is fucking good. They're good as shit. Their owner has good opinions. Sometimes I'll just stand in there with him and bullshit.
I
he's
forgot
a cool
this
guy.
one pizza spot. Is it Armando's by the L train last time? Oh my God. So Armando's was the first place I had buffalo chicken pizza.
Ooh.
Bro.
If it's good, it's really good.
Bro.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't like too much stuff on my pizza because I still want to taste the sauce and the cheese. But when I got there, like, you look at this slice and there's just chicken all over. You don't see, like, you don't even see the cheese, but there's just like chicken all over it. And so I said, I'm really hungry. Let me grab this. Let me see how I'm feeling. Boy. Coma.
Damn.
Instantly. Armando's, not there's a couple of them, but there's one specifically in Canarsie on the last stop on the L train in Brooklyn. That Armando's right there. As much as I don't like going to Canarsie, I go to Canarsie for that pizza. Other than that, there's no reason to go to Canarsie. Like, no reason at all. There's nothing there.
I go there for work. That's the only thing I go there.
You work in Canarsie?
I work all over the city, bro. Well, because I go to different food production establishments.
Okay,
Basically
I'm about to
audit
say,
their
I'm
systems.
so... Oh, man, no offense to none of my Canarsie people. I love y'all, but Canarsi's boring. Sorry.
Ain't shit there.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a White Castle.
I'm telling you, Canarsie is borderline Queens. Like, to me.
Anyway, so for people that are not from New York listening to this podcast, which is probably most of them,
Yeah.
come check
Honestly,
out some of
guys,
these pizza spots. If you're in
honestly,
Ocean
guys, there's a
City-
huge feud in New York, which is the best borough.
Talking about pizza, man. I don't
Yeah,
get.
DJ, hit us up. What's your favorite pizza?
Yeah, what's your favorite pizza in New York, man?
Well, my area, the pizza is shitty.
Nah, I'm
The
sorry.
pizza is shitty.
The Long Island City's pizza is bad, but in Jamaica, Queens, they got some fire pizza.
But I do go to Costco's. Their pizza is great.
Yo, I have heard good things about
That's
Costco.
all I
First
can
of
tell
all,
you.
Costco's pizza is a rare commodity.
That shit is great, bro.
It is mad good, bro. You would not expect like that, like, pause, but they got great hot dogs too. Pause. The hot dogs is good. I'm sorry. Pause. I said it 3 times.
Say, bro.
You just see it?
Is this where we're at
DJ's
now?
DJ's is
But
like,
those,
did you see his face squint? As soon as I said it, it's like, what?
I watch people order it all the time, and it's not even regular hot dogs. But it's like this,
Nah,
this is
them joints is
this
huge.
long.
Pause.
1/4 pound beef, bro. I'm like, nah, y'all crazy, bro.
Nah,
That's
them
a
joints
thick
is like the
meat
coffee.
stick, bro.
Them
You
joints
putting
is-
that thick meat stick in your mouth, bro?
Oh, nah.
That good?
Oh nah.
Pause.
Oh God!
All right,
I knew it was coming when I brought it up, but
You're the one who
had
made
to
it
be
weird.
honest. I
For
know.
the record, you made it fucking weird.
I said pause because I had to say
I had to
pause.
play off it. You could
I
just
had to
say
say
you like the
pause.
hot dog, but you had to take it there. So
I had to
just
say
continued
pause
it.
because I know people who are watching this that was gonna go. So you just gonna say that and not pause it? Like, come on,
It's New York. So
it's
gonna
New
say,
York.
hey,
Yeah, I
yo.
gotta say they gonna hit. I know there's like 100 AOs that just went on just now, like 100 of them.
But look though, the Costco's food menu catalog in general,
It's awesome.
It's like
They have mad
everything
food,
is there, bro.
and then you just spent a good $300 and you walk away with half of the store.
No, but I'm saying, but this the thing I like about Costco's in general. Like, how much you pay for a regular size, a regular pizza pie?
10 to $20 depending on the type of pizza.
No, regular cheese.
Oh,
pizza
regular
pie.
cheese like $12.
That shit in there is $10.
I've never bought
That's
a whole
a deal.
pie.
And it's huge.
You know what, guys? I think we do have to cut it on the talking about corporations that aren't paying us. So Costco, hit us up. Give us
Right?
some money.
You
You want
right?
us to shout you out? You better pay us. All right.
Yeah,
So
I
I
need-
take back everything I said about every place except for Shotty's.
Either pay us in pizza or pay us in cash. It's up to you.
Shotty, you don't got to pay me, bro.
Shotty, I'm coming to show you love just because my man Jesse said it was fire. So I'm definitely gonna check that out.
We'll take a trip down to Ocean City, man. We'll stay at my girl's mom's place.
With it.
She got like a beach house.
So we've had a lot of like sidebars and stuff today, but I wanted to take time out to like address certain issues, and Dana White was one of them.
Okay.
That was a very important topic for me because the reason why it was so important is that as a person who spends more and more time watching combat sports, as a person who spends more and more time training, I know how hard it is for me when I'm training and how I feel after sparring and having a hard week of training and working out and all that type of stuff. And as a person who is doing it willingly just for the love of training, compared to a person who is doing it for a living.
And not that good of a living either.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So the thing that bothers me about it, right? Doesn't matter what combat sports it is. I mean, boxers obviously get paid a shit ton more money.
Yeah.
But if I am here and I am sacrificing my entire physical body from the very top hair on my head to the toenails on my feet, I am sacrificing my entire body. And if I get on like a 5-fight win streak, I should get a bonus just because I'm on a 5-fight win streak.
They should be getting paid.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look at this guy's face. I'm pretty sure he wasn't born with a nose like that.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying? You can see he obviously had that nose broken a couple of times.
The thing about, we're talking about Jack Della Maddalena, like these guys, like they get a lot of their injuries before the UFC.
Before, yeah.
Like before they even make money, they're getting hurt. They're getting knocked out. You see the guys that make it. What about all the guys that didn't make it, you know?
Right.
And they don't have anything to fall back on. Like that's why it's so important, I think. And, you know, I'm sure that someday Dana White's going to use this to not sign me to the UFC, but like the fighters need a union, you know, like they need to get together and do collective bargaining like they do in other sports. Because if all the fighters said, we're not going to fight for you until we get some sort of standardized pay, like we each make minimum like $100K a fight, you know, like it's.
Because look at it like this. They tried to set up a union. It was GSP.
Randy Couture, I believe was
involved. Randy, what's his name? Snake Boy. They call him Snake Boy. Dillashaw. You know, Dillashaw was a part of that as well. I think Jose Aldo was going to try to be a part of it as well. Like, these are some of the biggest names in the sport.
Hunt too.
Yeah, these are some of the biggest names in MMA, period, on any continent. And they couldn't even get it done.
Yeah.
So if they can't get it done, GSP, if anybody is literally one of the top 3 MMA fighters in history, and he couldn't even get these guys. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Because the thing is, there will always be people that'll fight. You know, they could always find somebody.
There's
it's a shame because, like, if everyone understood their worth, like, people would be getting paid a lot more.
Well, this is
Dana White spending millions of dollars on his kids' birthday parties. Like, no joke. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure he got Chris Brown for his fucking kid's birthday party.
That's fucking nuts.
Which, like, and you're not paying these guys. You're giving guys $12,000 contracts. Like, come on now.
Yeah, the thing about it for me is like, and this goes back to why, you know, when we were talking about growing up in certain neighborhoods and things like that, you know, this speaks on the combat sports industry, the music industry. Like, when you get into this stuff, some people, we come from backgrounds where you put $500 in front of our faces based off of the way I grew up back in the day. Man, what you want me to do? What contract? What? Because some of these people have never held more than what?
I'll do that shit now. I just got 2 tickets. Street clean.
Oh, man. You know, but at the end of the day, some of these people, they ain't never seen no money like this. $100,000 to just fight? Shit, why not?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I got to deal with some, you know, broken bones here and there and all that. Well, I got $100,000. I go to the hospital.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure there's at least a fourth of these fighters, not just in UFC, in general. If you want to take all the fighters in the world, at least a fourth of them are like, I don't give a fuck what you pay me.
Yep. There's a lot of these guys, and I think we were talking about this on the first episode. Like, fighters are fighters, man.
Right.
They're going to fight one way or the other.
Right.
So you might as well pay them to do it, or else they're going to be beating your ass in the fucking bar after 2 a.m.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, and this is why I'm like, you want to pay them, and you don't want to keep them held up. Once again, it's like they're in a NBA or NFL contract. You know what I'm saying? Because, but honestly, you can't even say that because Bo Jackson played baseball and football.
That's the thing about the NFL and NBA contracts is they all have collective bargaining. You know, like all the players get together and say, we're not going to play unless you agree to pay us a standardized rate.
Did this man just walk out with his shirt tucked into his trunks? I don't think I've ever seen that.
Australians, man, what are you going to do?
That is... I'm sorry. He's got to be a dad or something. He's got to have kids.
That
I
man
ain't gonna say nothing because I do it.
See, no, that's different. I do
He's
it.
probably
I do it.
warming up
I
in
do
the
it when we
back.
wear our sweats. I don't do it with the shorts.
I do it with the shorts.
Oh, I don't do it with the shorts.
I do it with the shorts for sparring, not for drills.
Yes,
But I do it for
tuck in.
sparring because if someone front kicks you and then their foot gets caught in your shirt, like it's annoying.
What's the matter? You don't want nobody's toe tickling around your belly button?
I'd rather not, preferably.
I gotta
Valerie,
invest in the cup.
Valerie,
Since we
you
talking
didn't
about
hear that.
sparring, I gotta invest in the cup, man.
So I'm
You
not
don't
gonna.
have a cup. Hold
I'm
on.
not gonna say who. Well, I don't have one anymore either because during sparring, I'm not gonna say who did it, but they broke my cup, so I had to get a new one.
They hit you in the balls so hard it broke your cup.
Well, it didn't break like the actual covering piece, but it snapped the elastic band
Oh,
that held
shit.
it in place.
You know what you got to do, bro? I'm telling you, the best cups I've ever had are compression shorts with a pocket.
Oh yeah,
So there's nothing like holding it up. There's no like jock strap. I don't like the feeling of that shit.
No.
Like it's just weird to me.
no, it feels terrible.
But just compression shorts with a cup, you know, or you can
Yeah.
get a tie cup, which is a steel cup, and that shit's weird as hell. But you will
Nah,
you'll
I'm
never
good.
get hit in the nuts again because someone will hit you in the nuts once, they'll break their toe, and then they'll be very careful for the rest of the time that they know you.
See, I've never like I haven't caught many groin shots in my martial arts career. If I have, like, I've happened like once or twice, you know. And
It happens to me fairly often, but I kick a lot.
yes, you do. I know this. I've had shin to dome before.
One time.
Shit, the dome is crazy.
Yo, like it was
It was one time.
it
Only
was
got-
one time, but it was a good one
It was a
time.
good shot.
Only got kicked in my head like twice. And that's what Jeff.
I usually don't do it, you know, but like if it's there,
Oh no, I asked for that one. I walked right into it that day. Right into it. It was like he was throwing it anyway, and I might as well have just looked at it and signed up for the kick.
yeah, I forget how it was set up. Like I think you were throwing like a right hand or
Mhm.
something, and I just kind of like backstep, lean back, and boom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a nasty one because I think the very next week Madeline tried to take me out with a high kick, and she got it up there.
She's got snappy high kicks, man.
Yo,
That's the
Madeline is good.
karate chick.
Madeline is she teaches with me on Saturdays.
Is that the one with the braces?
Oh,
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking about. I know
She's got
exactly
snappy
what
high
you're
kicks.
Yeah,
man.
she's got
She
good
caught me a couple
she's got good
I know you're
technique.
talking
She
about.
works really hard. I like Madeline. She's great. She's great. She's like, for example, like, yeah, she's quite young, but at the same time, I think she's somebody, if she sticks to it, she can teach martial arts, and she can, you know, even compete if she decided she wanted to. You know, she's very young, but as she grows, she has a technique for it. She
Yep.
plays volleyball. She has strength. Like, she has endurance. She would be good if she decided to do it.
And she's tough. I've sparred with her, you know, and obviously I'm not like trying to take her head off or anything, but
Yeah.
like she's not afraid.
Yeah, not at all. Not, like I said, she tried to head kick me.
So
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah, as far as combat sports, there's way more money that should be put into these fighters.
Yep.
You know,
too much of the money goes to the top, like with any business, but too much money goes to the top, man.
yeah, of course. Because at the end of the day, honestly, what I tell people, all the money goes into look around them.
Yep.
That's what it goes into. The shorts that they're wearing, the gloves that they're wearing, the cage, the everything around. They have to have, UFC has to look like the best of the best of the best of the best of the best.
It's all about production quality. Yeah.
Which is fine. That's fine. But at the end of the day, I need you to have a budget for these fighters.
It's about the fighters, you know?
Not to cut y'all low, right? This is welterweight, correct?
Yeah.
How tall is he?
He's huge. He's 6'3".
Yeah, he's tall.
He's a big welterweight.
And
man.
welterweight.
He's a big welterweight.
See, but look at it like this. Sean O'Malley is very
This is
tall for
Randy Brown.
bantamweight.
Yeah,
talking
but like,
about.
but
Randy
that,
Brown and Jack Della
but listen, like, I don't really think that's unfair for real. Cause yeah, but this.
No,
is
I'm not
like,
saying it's unfair.
this is wild. 6'3" and welterweight.
Yeah, he's very skinny too.
This is wild.
I mean, but
to
he's
me.
slim. He's slim.
Yeah, but
I don't
like,
think he.
Oh,
cuts
he
a ton of
slapped the
weight
shit
either.
out of him just
he's-
now.
He fights. He's got a fun style, man. He's very like he's got a lot of energy in there. Randy Brown, we're talking about.
I don't think I've ever seen him fight.
Matter of fact, I want to put the sound on this.
Why does it feel like they all move like Izzy a little bit, bro?
They all do. But at the end of the day, you know, when you are cutting weight at that point, like if Brock Lesnar cut down to welterweight, which will probably never happen. I'm just using it as an example.
I don't
If he
think
cut
it's
down,
humanly possible.
yeah, probably not. But, you know, just using him as an example, you know, he'd still be huge, but at the same time, because remember, once they cut the weight, once they get to that scale and they've made the weight, they can put all that shit right back on, bro.
Which is why they should really make weight cutting. I think weight cutting is probably the biggest problem with this sport.
Stupid. It's stupid for combat sports in general.
The thing is, if everyone's doing it, there's no point. Like, you're not getting an advantage, because if you and your opponent are
rocks his shit.
Jack Della Maddalena is the real deal.
It's over.
About to be out.
No, it's over.
Nah, he ain't gonna quit.
Wow, he rocked. He stumbled his leg. Oh, it's over. Wow.
He did all that.
He was stumbling on his legs. Looked like he was walking on 2 chopsticks.
That's the problem with being super tall, is when you get hit, you turn into Bambi.
He's tight. That dude was ice skating.
That man was dancing around the ring.
Oh, man. See?
That's the thing about
Maddalena is the real deal.
This sport is different.
That's the thing about this sport, man. Anything can happen. And it's like, there's 2 characters, man. The one that's overly confident, and then when he loses, they people like to shun him. Oh, you should have been doing this. Ah ha ha ha. And you got the people that's just like humble,
good,
like don't say nothing.
That's what I did before.
Boom.
Wow, and that was right behind the ear. Whoops.
Right hand,
that dude is stumbling.
Clipped him as he was exiting.
I feel like he should have grabbed his leg.
Yeah, he should have turned into him.
Did you notice how, like, he waited to throw his big strike until he had him up against the fence, because Brown was moving so much, so he had him trapped there for just a second. Boom, there's the right hand.
No, did he try to explode at the ground?
Yeah, he tried to roll, but here's the tap. Wait, hold on. Oh, okay, I'm about to say, is he under the neck?
Do you think it's really tight for him? I don't think it was really tight. I thought he had his hand like this.
But still, even so, like, if
he was yeah.
Like Jeff has almost choked me out without having the full grip.
You don't have to have the full grip. Like, if you look at, for example, Conor versus Khabib, like, I fully believe to this day that Khabib was trying to break his neck.
Yeah, I think
he did not have it under the chin. He wasn't trying to get
it
under the chin. And Herb Dean had to pull his hands off. Like, I think he was trying to kill him. And then he later said in an interview, he was like, "Why you not go sleep? Why you not go sleep? You're a warrior. You say you're here to die. Why not go sleep?" And he knew damn well he did not have it under the chin. He was not going to go to sleep. He was going to break his fucking neck anyway. But I've always thought that about that fight. Khabib was going in there to kill that man, and he almost did it. Which, you know, Conor said some shit.
I mean, honestly,
he did. I mean, flipped over the cage and went after his crew. You seen that?
Yeah. Khabib just. I remember watching that live, man. Like, I just saw him sprint, and I heard Joe Rogan going, "No, no, 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 no," and he just the eagle.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. When it comes to situations like that, as bad as it is, I love it.
That's why we watch this shit.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I legit love. When I saw Khabib hop out that ring, I said, this is terrible, but this is some of the juiciest, best shit, bro.
Fights with real beef. We all want fights to have real beef.
Right. John Jones and Daniel Cormier, I love it. Conor and Khabib, I love it. Now, did I like what Conor said? No, I don't like nothing he said about him. That wasn't cool. But
that was a real fight. That wasn't a match. You know what I'm saying?
The rivalries, like,
there's certain rivalries that I just absolutely adore. I love it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the new one I like is Easy Respire.
Oh yeah, that one's gonna go on.
To be fair, that's new to MMA, old to kickboxing.
Yeah,
like they've been going at it for a long time. But
this is the thing, bro, and we talked about this last episode. If that man Izzy loses again, I don't think he's going to lose again. But if
Pereira's the boogeyman.
Oh my God, if that man beats Izzy one more time,
dude, that puts like I don't know how to explain it.
It puts a weird asterisk on his name.
But Izzy's going to go start playing soccer, and Pereira's going to come over and beat him in that too.
I saw that.
I swear to God.
I saw that. They still kept showing all these memes wherever he went.
You know what's sick about that, for real? When he fought Anderson Silva, guess who was in his corner?
Who?
Pereira.
Was in whose corner?
Pereira was in Anderson Silva's corner.
That's crazy.
You're kidding me.
I did not know that.
He was there the whole time. He was here the whole time.
Wow. Bro. I did not know that. I did not know that.
Pereira is a scary human being.
Yo, dude, I was talking to him about it. Yo, Pereira is naturally 230 something pounds.
His weight cut is insane.
Oh my God, it's disgusting.
But he doesn't seem to have any problems with it. That's the thing. Is like he cuts that weight just fine, and he is big. Like he's bigger than heavyweights.
He's huge.
Like even his head is just big, bro.
He's fucking
like if you
huge.
look at his head size, like the man is built like a Neanderthal.
DJ got pictures.
Yeah, the whole entire time.
That's
Get the hell out of here.
there. So
That's
just imagine Izzy fighting Anderson Silva.
Wow.
And seeing
Looking
Alex
over it.
Pereira
Oh my
there.
God.
Imagine that. You see
Wow.
your worst enemy in your enemy's
What
corner.
a story, man. What a
Wow.
story.
That man's follows him everywhere.
Oh, y'all
you know
hear
what's
about the
crazy?
fight?
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk all night, but guess what? I'm going to bring this one to a close. We thank you for listening to our podcast.
Tuning in.
We love you all.
Appreciate the listens.
Sure, man.
I know we jumped around a lot. You know what I mean? But I
Little
think there was some good
Caesars.
stuff in there for everybody. I think everyone can find something to relate to in that. And, like just keep on listening and keep on hanging out with us, man. Like we love this shit. And if you love this shit, you'll love it too.
Try some of the pizza spots we talked about. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. I want to personally thank my co-hosts for riding with me, coming through. We have so much to talk about. There's such a wealth of knowledge coming from each of you guys, and I just can't wait to continue to just build more and just talk more and just really get into this journey that we're on when it comes out to combat sports, man. So we definitely got a lot more to go. We thank you guys. We love you guys. Little Caesar, stop playing. You heard my man Jesse. Get on over here with that garlic pizza, man.
Hit me up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we out.